Abductions and murder. For many months, small villages and farmsteads along the eastern coasts of New Vinland and up the River Mavie and as far north as Bogrest have been plagued by swift and deadly attacks. The few surviving witnesses describe a vicious band of Viking berserkers led by a giant of a Viking and a beautiful Celtic woman. Descending without warning in their sleek longship, they seize victims, loot and burn homes, and slay any who resist. News of these raids have spread through mead halls and taverns as far distant as Cromarium. Tensions are high in New Vinland as the various jarls eye each other warily, threatening the stability of the region. So far, Celtic and Viking chieftains have failed to suss out the identity of these evil malefactors, but your party has vital information that could possibly put a stop to these murderous slavers. Will you be able to put an end to this evil, or just end up as more victims on the Oblation Slab of the Hepatomancer? Coming right up on RPG Retro Reviews. Hello everyone, I'm captcorajus and I review old school modules and games and try to give them a fun and informative analysis. If you're new to the channel, please take a moment to give this video a like and help out an old OSR and D&D YouTuber with the algorithm. And by the end of this video, I hope to earn your subscription as well. This week, I've got a fun one for you, the Oblation Slab of the Hepatomancer. A few months ago, Jeffrey Talanian and Northwind Adventures ran a Kickstarter campaign to release 3 new adventures for the Hyperborea RPG: The Thousand Eyes of Thaumagoraga, The Vanishing Isles of the Summer King, and this module, the Oblation Slab of the Hepatomancer. Hyperborea is a pulp fantasy RPG based heavily on the first edition rules of Dungeons & Dragons, but greatly expanded and modified to congeal with its setting, the world of Hyperborea. Hyperborea itself is inspired by Robert E. Howard's Conan the Barbarian, the existential horror of H.P. Lovecraft, and the Hyborian fantasy of Clark Ashton Smith. I've done extensive reviews on this game and its setting, and if you'd like to know more, there's a link in my video playlist on this topic, here and in the description. It's important to note that due to the OSR nature of these modules, you can play them using the rules of 1st or 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons, BX, or many of the excellent OSR clones such as Old School Essentials or Osric. Up front, I want to say that the production quality on all of these modules is top-notch. Jeffrey Talanian should really be proud of the expert professional team of writers, cartographers, and artists he has assembled who, in my opinion, are consistently putting out the best content in the OSR today. Del Tigler, Jonathan Bingham, Andreas Claren, Glenn Seal, and others consistently contribute high-quality illustrations and content to Hyperborea's modules. Even Jeff's daughter Sky contributes art to this adventure. So, like me, some of you may not know what oblation means, or what hepatomancy is, and before you get into the comments aghast that somehow I, captcorajus, didn't know the meaning of these generally uncommon words, congratulations. You're superior to me, you should probably start a YouTube channel. Anyway, for the rest of us, I looked up oblation and found that it means a thing presented or offered to a god or gods. Ah, okay, I get it now. Cool. So, let's look up hepatomancy and see what that means. What? Oh my gosh, what the? Okay. Well then, that's a thing I was not aware of. Neat. So, let's get into this review. Know that the topic of gore and body horror are important elements of this module, and the subject matter is probably in the PG-13-ish range, so if that's not your cup of tea, you might want to click away. By the way, spoiler warning, I will be going into detail on this module's contents from this point forward, so if you want to play it, please direct your Dungeon Master or Game Master to this video and you may wish to stop here. Alright, so, still with me? Great! The adventure begins with the player characters learning about abductions and murders taking place in small villages and farmsteads along the eastern coasts of New Vinland, the Gall Hills, and the Vikland region. Several adventure hooks are suggested. There's one from Jarl Rainer Bengtsson, whose capture of one of the berserkers from the raiding parties allowed him to uncover the names of the Hepatomancer, Orissa Leon, and his witch Mira, as well as their location, offering a large sum of gold and providing a Viking ship if needed to hunt down the evildoers. Or there's the Celtic chieftainess Sorsha, whose lovely daughter Fiona was abducted by the berserkers a week before her wedding to the chieftain of a rival clan in hopes of assuring peace between them, thus destabilizing the negotiated peace settlement. However, it is learned through an intermediary that the volatile Terran sold his betrothed to the slavers in a fit of rage as he believed that his would-be bride was no longer chaste. The spy provided Sorsha with the location of the Hepatomancer's lair. In any case, the political ramifications and the fallout from the raids should provide the characters with motivation enough to seek out this foul sorcerer and end him and his minions. The module offers up a rumor table, allowing the heroes to each know a little something about the goings-on in the area. The Game Master can just say the characters know these things, or role-play out the interactions with NPCs if they so desire. In any event, travel to the Hepatomancer's lair entails boating down the River Mavi and possibly encountering hostile creatures along the way. The wilderness map provided offers several additional encounters, some of Orissa Leon's berserker warriors, the Viking huntsman Oddbjorn, the malevolent tree man, and a strange obelisk that may very well teleport an unwary PC to one of several specified locations. Once the heroes have navigated the dangers of the river and the wilderness surrounding the Hepatomancer's lair, several means of egress are possible. There is the Tunnel of Death. Never a great name for a tunnel you actually plan on traveling through, which leads to the secret entrance of Orissa Leon's horrid laboratory, the contents of which are startling. Jars containing entrails, organs, and severed body parts line the tables and shelves of this place, especially dissected livers arrayed in an enigmatic pattern. And the stench of putrefaction overwhelming and requiring characters to make a test of constitution. As if that wasn't horrific enough, the place contains the most gross zombies in a module I think I've ever seen. 4 intestine zombies flank the entrance door, ready to attack intruders. Now, these creatures were actually included in Hyperborea's 3E Game Master's Guide, but I guess I really didn't pay attention to them. But wow, they are used to great effect here, and as one might suspect from the name, these zombies can attack with their intestines, entwining a victim and strangling them. Ew. The entrance at the top of the cliff begins with several berserkers and sub-chiefs wrestling and sparring with weapons, lifting heavy stones, drinking ale, and chewing lotus leaves. Of course, they'll attack anyone who dares approach the clearing here, but a patient party who merely observes them will find they leave and file into the dungeon to eat after a short time. Lotus-addled as they are, they may not even lock the door behind them. Midway down the stairwell entrance are 5 giant crab spiders, hidden in crevasses. The residents occasionally feed them a slave and keep them at bay with torches. Thus, they wait until the torchbearers of the party pass by before attempting to attack members in the rear. The other entrance is on the beach at the bottom of the cliff face, where a portcullis entrance has been hewn into the side, though a surprise awaits those who believe they can just force open the gate to gain entry. I should mention that there are several very detailed NPCs and henchmen besides the evil Hepatomancer himself, Orissa Leon. There is Mira, an evil Celtic witch whose motives for joining this strange band are unclear, though certainly she has her reasons for being here. The berserker Hakan is obsessed with her, which she is well aware of and uses to her advantage. The brute is never far from her side, and together they will pose quite the threat to even a well-prepared party of adventurers. Then there is Vol, a cruel assassin and bodyguard to Arisalion himself. These four, along with the berserkers and berserker sub-chiefs, will offer quite the challenge, not to mention the Hepatomancer himself. Arisalion is an Ixion, an 8th level necromancer who consorts with demons and venerates Cthulhu. He was drawn to this ancient cliffside lair by nightmarish dreams and probably lotus-induced visions. When the heroes finally make it to his large sacrificial chamber, he will be in the middle of conducting his latest sacrifice. The lovely Fiona herself, chained and captive to the altar. In addition, there are some minor demons, a couple of Viking berserker sub-chiefs, and the bodyguard Vol. The party has 6 rounds before Arisalion finishes his gruesome ritual and plunges his dagger into the hapless Fiona to complete its vile orisons and gain his malignant powers. His main goal here is to resurrect his deceased lover Wolfhild, whose mummified remains are found elsewhere in the necromancer's lair. Of course, if successful, there is treasure and magic items for the party to share, in addition to other potential rewards. I mean, it seems highly unlikely that the lovely Fiona would be thrilled at reuniting with the vile Terran who sold her into slavery to begin with. The next logical adventure here suggesting to be one of vengeance against that Jarl chieftain. The Oblation Slab of the Hepatomancer is not a long module, the adventure itself for character levels 5 to 8 and taking up a mere 19 pages, and can probably be completed in just 2 game sessions. As usual with other Hyperborea adventures, this module fits well within the setting and leans heavily on its horror aspects, and in this case a heavy amount of gore. One of the new spells provided here is Yolida's Execrable Evisceration, a 4th level necromancer spell that can cause the victim's intestines to erupt from their stomachs and strangle them to death. Just having your friends extricate you from this spell can lead to your demise. Pretty foul. Clearly this adventure is inspired by many classic Conan the Barbarian adventures and brings to mind such tales as The Phoenix and the Sword, Red Nails, and The Slithering Shadow, but also invokes the feel of the 1970s era Marvel's Savage Sword of Conan, as well as a nod to Frank Frazetta's depictions of scantily clad damsels in need of rescue. And Del Tiegler's art especially, though all of the art in this module is top-notch. One of the reasons I like to have both a physical copy and a PDF of a module these days is so I can clip and print out the art pieces to share with my players during a game session, adding to the immersion. So here is the part in the video where normally I would give my D20 evaluation, and I'm going to do that here, though I'm changing and simplifying things quite a bit. Going forward, I'm just going to give an overall rating from 1 to 20 rather than breaking things down into categories of style, presentation, and value. Oblation Slab of the Hepatomancer is available in print at the Northwind Adventures website for just $20. The thick cardstock covers have a nice matte finish, and overall outstanding production values make this well worth the price. I'd also recommend the PDF as well. There is a handout to give to your players, in addition to quite a few artwork pieces you may wish to print out to have on hand during play to show the players. And it's only $10 for the PDF at DriveThruRPG. There are links for everything in the description. This module is not for everyone, to be sure. It relies heavily on gore and some pretty dark subject matter, but is well structured and written. The NPCs are fleshed out and allow the players' interactions with them to send the adventure into some potentially unexpected directions. Many of the encounters here are going to provide a challenge for even your more experienced players, and if ran correctly, will offer an exciting and fun evening of pulp fantasy-inspired role-playing. Thus, my evaluation for the Oblation Slab of the Hepatomancer is an 18. Very good. Thank you all so much for watching. In the weeks ahead, I have a variety of new content coming your way, including the long-awaited Old School Stories, a review of Lamentations of the Flame Princess, a true relation of the Great Virginia Disastrum. I will be reviewing more Hyperborea modules from the Modulistic Terror release, which includes 1,000 Eyes of Thaumaturga and the Vanishing Isles of the Summer King. And now that the 5th edition Monster Manual is out, I will be giving my opinion on Dungeons & Dragons 2024. I'd like to take a moment to thank my Patreons, without whom these videos would not be possible. Please give this video a like, comment, and share. Please check out my Teespring store for great gaming swag, t-shirts, carry bags, coffee cups, and more. Join the channel's Facebook page, RPG Retro Reviews, and consider supporting the channel by becoming a patron yourself. Or alternatively, you can just send a tip through the PayPal tip jar, or leave a tip through Super Thanks. As always, my friends, may your D20 roll true, and game on.